Hello everyone, it's Kim here and I'm with my friend Thelma, my gal pal from Manitoba. Here she is. She's giving you a big heart.
But I don't like coffee.
She doesn't like coffee, but she's going to help me and we're going to make some awesome papers today and she's going to take a pile home. We have about 500 sheets of paper here to work with. But first, I'm going to very slowly walk you over to one of my dining room windows. So you can see, we have a big mess here still.
The other mischief we were up to.
These are only some of my beaded curtains that I'm going to be doing for my windows. I'm going to just step back a little bit so you can see the whole window first. There it is. Plus over on this side, I have some of the ones that Thelma brought with her, and gifted me one every day. And she already gave me all 14. And some of them we put in this batch to make the window look a little bit better. Now there are about 20 of them here, but we're probably going to do altogether 25 in this window. But I'm just going to take you down to this part here so you can see the bottom of the dangles. And then there's my yard and my neighbor's house. So that's the windows, and now I'm going to turn you around one more time, slowly, hold your breath, close your eyes, whatever works, and I'm going to take you outside, and this is where we're going to be doing those coffee dyeing. Now, you saw the little tin with the coffee jar in it, and there was 4 heaping teaspoons of coffee, and I will add some hot water to it and just mix it up. And just showing you outside, we have 2 long tables that we're going to be working on over there. And look at the view we get to look at. This is from my front yard. So yeah, come and visit me anytime and we'll sit and make paper together. So then at this table here, I have a basket of fabric, and I think I've told you that I put lots of strips of paper and odds and ends pieces of paper in this basket. Anything I want coffee dyed, I just wait until the basket is filled and then I do it all at once. And then we're going to try this for the first time. I bought this at the dollar store. It was $4 for the package, and I think it makes about 12 bottles of dye for doing tie dyeing. And so we've already mixed the dyes. We sort of follow their instructions, I think. And then I have all these different plastic doilies. It's a little bit windy right now, so until we get started, I'm going to leave them with a little bit of weight on them. So I have some round plastic doilies, some Dollarama doilies that I picked up, and some bigger tablecloth pieces. I also have some strips that we're going to try on paper. And then I have these little doilies here as well. So that's what we have to get started. A whole package of 500 sheets of paper. We are very ambitious today. And so we're going to get started and get things kind of rolling into a pattern. Oh, one more thing to show you over on this table is these are metal cube shelving. And I just liked the screen pattern look to it. And I'm sure you could use window screen as well if you've got some. So we're going to test those out to see how they make patterns in the coffee paper. So once we get started, I'll come back, which will only be for a few seconds for you, but I'll come back and show you our progress and show you how we're doing things. Okay, that's it for now. See you in a few minutes. Hello everyone, I am back here to work on this video. Now when I say it's because it's been about 10 days since we did the first part of this video that you watched where we got everything ready. And Thelma has now left and gone back home to Manitoba. We've had a really busy time together doing all kinds of fun things, and we just couldn't get back to getting the video up and posted and show the follow-up. So I decided to do it today. So Thelma left this morning. We were in Halifax for the last couple of days, Halifax, Nova Scotia. And she got on a plane she got out of the vehicle at 5:10 a.m. this morning, and I waved her off, hugged and waved her off, and shed a couple of tears and made lots of promises for next year. And she's gone back home, so I'm a little sad. Then I drove all the way home from Halifax right to my door, and it was like not under 4 hours. So it was pretty cool that I was back home already. And my husband left for work because he works part-time, and I'm home alone. So I decided I would finish off this video and at least get something started today. Now, here is the problem that we had. In the first part of the video, I mentioned that it was very windy. Well, it got super windy. And as we were taking paper out of the coffee dye mixture and putting it on the table, the paper was ripping. We barely could get the doilies on top. And then we had to put, I had glass jars, sealer jars that I used as weights on top of the doilies so that the doilies wouldn't blow away. And then we were applying the different dyes and stuff, and it just got windier and windier, and if you can say that, windier, more windy. And we had things flying off the deck. I chased paper all over the yard. So it was not a good experience. We still managed to get about 78 pages done. And Thelma did take a few pieces home to remind her how we did it. And so I'm just showing you what we did just to finish off the video and get it up so you can see. But I will do another coffee staining video very soon. As soon as I have a nice, warm, calm day, I will work on doing that. And I'm upstairs. It still sounds a little echoey in here because we've been moving things around, and so some of the furniture is missing because we're still renovating. And while I was gone, Tom did some changes in here too. So I'm just going to give you a quick rundown. Like I said, we had things flopping in the wind. So most of the images did not turn out that good. I'm going to turn the paper this way so you get a better idea. So this is just 8.5 by 11 letterhead paper. Now this was a doily. And we used the dyes that I had shown you from the dollar store. And I must say, they are really very intense in color. And they probably would have been fabulous on these pieces had we not had things flapping around in the wind. And so we don't have really defined doily patterns in here because of that. But sometimes a mistake is just as much a new idea and a new project. And I don't think this turned out bad. And I kind of like them looking a little bit distressed and not, completely filled in. So I'm just going to flip through a few of the pages to show you. This was another doily, and this was one of the pink dyes. I thought it turned out pretty good. This one, again, doily went flying, so the color just barely comes through here. I'm using the phone with one hand, so just so you know, but it's still pretty sharp, even though it didn't turn out. We used a little bit of table salt as well that we sprinkled here and there, and that gets the coffee stains to kind of expand, and I'll show you further what I mean, and it just makes a bigger blob, and very interesting, just the patterns that show up in the paper. So this had a little bit of the coffee salt in the coffee stain. So what had happened is when we dipped the paper in coffee and laid it down on the table, then we added a little more coffee brushed on and then added some salt over top. So it kind of bubbled all the coffee into different spots, which is quite interesting. This one again, the doily got lifted before it was finished, but it was certainly turning out really nice, a little bit darker in the coffee. Lots of little tears and rips in the paper because as you pulled it out, it would flap in the wind and then tear. So we do have a few sheets like that, but that can easily be fixed by adding some washi tape or some faux washi tape or even gluing down pieces of book page or an image or something. Another doily here. I think the yellow was a little bit lighter on this side to this one. This was a square set of 6 doilies all together. I thought this would be kind of cool to cut into little squares to use on projects. But none of these are perfect. None of them are those perfect pieces that you see. Here we used a more open doily and a combination of colors just spritzed on and then brushed out a little bit. But everything had to be done so fast. And towards the end, I ended up, I think we were getting a little frustrated with the wind. So I ended up just as soon as they were dry enough, I was bringing them in and putting them aside. But they're still beautiful. I love them. So here you can see more definite where the salt was dropped. It creates like little bubbles and causes the coffee to spread out wherever the salt is, and then leave that darker edge around it. So I thought that was kind of neat. And we were just playing, just taking drops of dye and spreading it. Whatever we got, we got. And I'm not going to go through all of them. I'll just go through a handful. This one turned out pretty nice. This was a larger doily. Now I'm going to flip it over because this is the light side and that's the darker side. So I thought this turned out, this was that red Valentine heart-shaped doily, and I thought it turned out pretty nice looking. So I think I will definitely use that one again. When I do this next time, I will do probably a little bit more, I'll leave a little bit more space in between, definitely do it on a calmer, hotter day so that they dry fast, so that I can process them pretty quickly. Another doily, I don't remember which one this was, but the color here, the fuchsia of those tie-dye dyes was really intense. Another nice one. Here we use the same square doily, but just added a little bit of the pink in there. Another blue one. It's just too bad that they didn't turn out as nice as we had hoped. But still, I'm definitely excited to be able to use these. Now, Thelma did take the best of the best home with her because she wanted them as samples. And I'm fine with that because I'm going to be making more of these. Now here where we added the salt, we added a little bit of blue at the same time. So it gave that effect. And it's pretty neat staining idea. A little more salt. So you see how when you drop the salt, it just leaves a little bit of a white, and then the coffee gets darker and darker around the edges. It just kind of makes it just spread out. Multicolors, very faded, because here again, as soon as the paper was just a little bit dry, I was taking the doily off. Now this one I used that black screen, and I think that's going to be a very good thing for two reasons. One, it will make a great pattern if I put it flat on top of the paper. But if I turn the screen over, these are those little screens that make cubes for shelving. And if I turn it over, it leaves a little, maybe about 1/4 of an inch distance between the paper and the metal. So I think I'm going to use those as a means of holding the paper down so that if it is a little bit windy, it won't go flying once it dries. So it will be used to hold the paper down as an alternative, but I will also use it to make this screen pattern in the paper because it looks pretty awesome. Just more of the same doilies, and so I don't know. I'll just flip through these really quickly in case I see something that I should show you. Here we just dropped stain and the dye and salt. Very simple. Couple of wrinkle pages. And just regular coffee dye. I did want some that were just plain coffee dye, but I do love these salt stains in there. Okay. So that's just to give you an idea. Here comes a pink one, but you can see we were taking the doilies off as fast as we were doing them because it just was too windy. This one was a hexagon pattern. It was a piece of plastic that had the X's in it. I think you can use an assortment of die cuts if you cut them out of plastic. And when I say cut them out of plastic, maybe you have a large margarine container lid or some kind of a plastic lid or a flat piece of plastic that you can die cut using your dies. And that's what this was. It was just some kind of a plastic that had the pattern in it. So these are options, again, to use in your staining and paper distressing. More plain, more wrinkled, more salt. Love the salt. I really love the salt. This one has just a few hues of pink. I don't think it was intentional. I think it was just that it was too close to another one. And when the paper flipped, the other one showed the pattern. So you can see that even though, you know, it was not what we planned, they certainly turned out nice enough to use for art. I think that's pretty much, you know, all you're going to get out of me here it's going to start to look the same. And so even though they didn't turn out perfect, I'm still happy with the results. And I know I'm going to use them in my art process. But I will have a day, a calm day, where I will work on them a little bit further, and I will share the whole process with you, and you know, you can see the results as we go along. So this is the follow-up to this video, and it's also to let you know that I'm back in action again. I do have another fun video to share with you that'll be coming up next, and that was because Thelma and I got a chance to meet Jennifer Dirtle and Deborah, and I'm calling her Deborah. And I can't think of her last name right now, but I will list it as well as her channel when I do that video. And so we got a chance to meet up with them in Moncton. No, not in Moncton, in Shediac, New Brunswick. We went to a fabric sale. Oh my word, did we ever have a score over there, and we weren't even first in line. So we met up with Jennifer Dirtle and her friend Deborah, and we went and had lunch together at a fun restaurant. So I will be showing you the video from that, as well as I will follow up with the fabrics that I got and the things that I got from the fabric sale. Something we're going to do as an annual event for sure. And it was so wonderful to meet Jennifer and Deborah that I'm looking forward to other opportunities to share with them. And I will explain all that in the next video. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy seeing how our mistakes turned out. Oh, that was a nice one too. This was just dropping color on top of color. But yeah, this is how our mistakes turned out, but I'm excited with the results, and I'm eager to get back in and showing you some good ones soon. That's it for now, but stay tuned for more coming up. Bye for now.